Alright guys, what you're looking at here is a disassembled Blackstone electric griddle. We're just doing this so we can show you what it's like when you get it out of the box. So Walmart has these. You can find them at your local stores for $117
At Walmart.
at Walmart, or you can order them online. So this is what it looks like when you take it out of the box.
Comes in 3 different sections and your accessories come in separate. So your plug, and you have a grease trap that comes in separate. And the grease trap just sits right on the back.
So this is non-stick, unlike the other Blackstones, which are cast iron. These are not. This is a non-stick, so you have to use plastic or rubber utensils or wood.
Just don't use metal and ruin it.
So there's a couple clips that this slides into. The front of this has 2 things on there that will slide in and then it will set down.
Simple.
Just like that. The grease trap clips onto the back, and the lid is also slotted. And it just sets on there like that, and there you go. So that is how easy it is to assemble. Now getting out of the box is a little bit harder because it's just packed with styrofoam and everything, because this is glass. It is a tempered glass top. So because it's going to get a lot of heat when you're cooking with it.
So it is packaged really well.
It's packaged really well. And oh, here we go. This is how you use it.
Simple.
Simple. You push the button. It goes from 200 degrees to all the way up to 500 degrees. So you would spin the dial to set the temperature. Say you wanted it to go to 300. You will then hit the button to set the temp, and these little bars will go over here, and once it's heated up to the desired temperature, there's a couple different bars that turn. When the first bar turns orange, that is when it's at the desired temperature that you have it set. There is like 2 other orange bars, which means that it's getting a little bit hotter, but it shuts off and it maintains the temperature. And when you're done, you push the button in, hold it in, it goes off. So
very, very simple.
Very simple. Now, one of the things that might deter people from wanting this grill is, first off, it's pretty large. It takes up quite a bit of the counter space. It is a 17-inch grill. The second thing is you have to watch where you put it, because if you see the lid here,
it goes higher than our cabinets on the wall.
So if you don't have a spot, an opening like this is the only spot in our kitchen that we can put this, because everything else has cabinets. So if you have a cabinet surrounding, and you don't have a spot big enough for this to open, you are going to have to use it without the lid.
Which is fine.
But that might be something for you to think about.
And the lid was something that drew us, one of the qualities.
Yeah, that makes the whole look of the grill. I mean, when you're not cooking with it, that looks great. But just know that if you don't have the spot, you're going to have to take that off when you cook, or leave it off, which could give you a little bit of splatter. So, all right, we'll cook with it and we'll be back. All right, Keto peeps, this is what you're waiting on. Can it hold a pound of bacon? Here we go. Now this is thick cut bacon.
Is it gonna fit?
That is a pound of bacon on the 17-inch Blackstone E-Series electric griddle, indoor. So we've unboxed it. We have washed it. And now we've cooked eggs on it, we've cooked hot dogs on it, and this is the second thing we cooked on it. And this is a pound of bacon. This is thick cut bacon, so it might be a little tighter if you have the thin cut bacon because there'll be more pieces. But we like thick cut bacon, so this is perfect for us on the inside. It doesn't seem like it's putting off too much steam. I have it set on 400. I had it on 325 to cook eggs, and then I turned it up to 350 to cook eggs and hot dogs. And I kind of think that somewhere between probably 350 and 400 is a sweet spot for everything, but it will go to 500. All right, guys, back we are after a full day of cooking on this, and it's the next day, and we cooked breakfast on it, and now we're going to do our review. So let's start with when I used it. All right, so as we showed you previously, it's easy to use. You just push the button, set the temp to what you need. It goes between 200 and 500, and then you click the button and it begins to warm. When it gets all the way warm, it goes into these bars that go across. They start to turn orange at the end when it reaches the desired temperature. So that is about as simple as you get.
Push the button to turn it off.
Push and hold the button in to turn it off. That is as easy as it gets. It's pretty flawless. All right, so the grill looks great. Very cosmetically appealing. It is bulky though. Also, the instructions, it comes with a big manual that basically show you how to put it together, which is what we showed you just a few minutes ago. It's just that easy. It comes in 4 pieces. You put the pieces on, you put the drip tray on, you put the cook surface on, and then you attach the lid. So while cooking with this, I noticed a few things. First off, it has to be somewhere where there's not a cabinet over top of it. So in our kitchen, this is the only spot that it could be while keeping the lid on because of the clearance. It would never fit under the cabinets that we have surrounding our kitchen. So this is the only open spot that we could actually use with the lid on. So while cooking things, first off, I noticed that because it goes between 2 and 500, there is no real application that I've found that you would want to cook with this under 400 degrees. And even though it sounds good that you could set it at 375 or 350 to cook even eggs, what I noticed is as soon as you, like, say I throw a pound of bacon on, if you have it set to 400, as soon as you put the bacon on it, the temperature of the meat is cold when you put it on the grill. So it starts to sear immediately, but it cools down due to the coldness temperature of the meat. So, and then it like takes a while you're cooking, it takes a while to heat back up. And one of the things that helps it heat back up while you're cooking is to have the lid shut. So that's going to be something that that seemed to work for me. And if you don't use the lid while you're cooking, well, anyway, let me backtrack. So that's why you're going to want it to be at 400. As a matter of fact, even cooking eggs, I cook it at 400, and bacon, I was up to 450. That way, when I drop the bacon on there, when the temperature goes down, it won't go like below 400, because if you was to start at 350 and you throw the bacon on there, it's going to go down to 300, and it's just going to take forever. It didn't brown as good as normal.
With the lid on, it did even out the surface more, though.
Yeah, so when I cooked with the lid off, what I noticed was there was about 2 strips of bacon. If you lined it up, there was about 2 strips of bacon on each side.
Mm-hmm. So the outer edge.
The outer edge is cooler than the inner. Now, I solved that problem in 2 different ways. One, turning the heat up, like I said, seemed to make it brown all the bacon evenly. And also, another way to solve that problem is to shut the lid. Which, shutting the lid, that solved all the problems of the uneven cooking. It made everything cook even and great. There was one downfall, though, in doing that. So while you're cooking with the lid shut, when you open the lid, you get condensation. Kind of like when you cover a pot with a lid and you take the lid off, it's water. Well, so the drip tray goes from here to here, which means that the condensation that rolls down the back of the lid, when you raise it up, the condensation drips down the lid, and half of it will go into the drip tray that's right below it. The other half on the outer edges actually goes down the back and onto your countertop. So while you can use the lid to even out the temperature so that you don't have the sides that get cooler than the middle does, like on all other grills and whatnot, it has a sweet spot, and that's the hottest spot is going to be in the middle. So if you use the lid in order to even it out so that it gets hot evenly, you're going to get condensation dripping down the back. It just seems to be one of the natures of the beast. The other way you could do it is to have your grill hotter, which is also what I've done. So I see this being used more at 400 to 450 and maybe even 475 in order to even everything out. Just get the grill good and hot before you put it on, because as soon as you put it on, the surface cools down with the temperature of the cold meat, making it cold. So other than that, I have found the workaround of how to do it. So I'm happy knowing that. Now, because I know I can just turn up the temperature more, I don't necessarily need the lid, so the condensation problem probably won't be an issue. But I'm still going to use the lid. I'm just going to be aware that when I'm done, I have to get a paper towel or a towel and just wipe around the corners on both back sides. Because
But is that grease or is that just water?
It's
steam?
it's just water. It's just the steam.
I'd rather have steam on my countertop than splatter from your normal griddle where you have grease splatter surrounding it.
So if you don't have a space to open the lid, you might have some spatter coming out. Now, we haven't had much spatter because the sides are higher than a normal cheap $30 griddle that you get that has a 1/4 inch lip on the sides, just basically to keep the grease from rolling off. So yeah, I mean we've cooked like 6 different things on here, and
overall, I mean the pros are going to be visually, we like it. Cosmetically, it looks good.
It looks very good. It's got a very big surface so that you can cook.
17-inch surface, so
you can
surface
cook.
size is good. Size is also a con though, just because the lid, and we can't place it wherever we want in our kitchen.
So I'm looking at it. I could cook at least 6 burgers, and that's pretty big smash burgers on this. So, the pro is that it's big and that you can cook multiple things at one time. And if it's probably just 2 of you and you're making a couple burgers, you could probably throw some veggies, mushrooms, onions, all kinds of stuff on this grill. It doesn't have to just be, meat like we eat most of the time for keto. You could probably throw asparagus and all kinds of stuff on this. The other pro, the pro is it's not splashing. So you got the cosmetic pro, you got the size pro. You got the
cleanliness of it. You're having less splatter with this griddle in comparison to others. And for the simplicity of it,
it's easy to clean. Now there's multiple ways to clean this. I've already found. I can wipe this down. I can just shove the grease in there, wipe this down, wipe down the front, wipe down the lid underneath, and be done with it. But you can also take it apart and clean this.
And it's very simple.
It's simple, but there is one catch, is that if you want to take this off to wash it in your sink, because it says do not put it in the dishwasher. So if you want to take this off, you have to actually remove the back of the lid that pops off real easy, and then take this off and wash it. And you could wash your lid while you're there too, and then just put it back together. The other pro is that it's got a very, a good sized drip pan. So I could actually cook 2 pounds of bacon or multiple things. You could probably use it twice without ever having to dump it or worry about the grease trap overflowing. And you can just take the grease trap and dump it in your jar if you want to save the grease for whatever reason. We save our bacon grease, so.
We cook with it.
So
So the cons.
The cons are, it's a little expensive at $117. It's more than any other griddle that I've ever seen.
A con is going to also be size.
A con is also going to be size. Even though size is a pro, it's also a con because not everyone is going to have the counter space for this. This is a big, this thing probably weighs 20, probably 20 pounds. And, it's pretty wide. So not everyone is going to have the countertop space or have the countertop space that has
the clearance.
Where you can have the clearance to use the lid. So the cons is that
price,
size, and in order, when you use it now, the other con that I found is that moisture goes down the back. That's not a deal breaker for me, but
you almost get that with anything, any kind of indoor appliance.
There's always going to be
your
something.
Cooking appliance.
So that's that con, and I guess if you ask me if something happened to this one or someone broke in the house and stole it, if I would replace it, yes, because we're in Ohio and this time of year from mid-November to mid-February or even all of February is going to be miserable for grilling outside. And because we're always cooking for 3 to 4 people and sometimes 6 to 7 people on the weekends when we get company, this is going to be our best option versus
very beneficial.
Yeah, versus, cooking on the stove all the time or whatnot. And this is easy still. I mean, this is very easy. I can use this and cook a full meal and have it, dump the grease trap and have it wiped down and ready to go in, less than 5 minutes. So it's very easy, very convenient for us. It just has a few flaws that if you don't overcompensate by turning the temperature up, you are going to have the outer edges are not going to cook as evenly as it does in the middle. So you have to turn it up higher than you would think. And that's really about it.
So overall, 1 through 10.
1 through 10, I'm going to give it between a 7 and an 8. So
just because there's a few things that could be improved on. It'd be nice to have.
It would be nice if the drip
more
pan
even.
Yes, and it would be nice if the drip pan, due to the condensation of when you raise the lid, it would be nice if the drip
edge to edge
tray went edge to edge to catch the condensation.
That would solve that problem.
That's going to run down and go down the back. Mm-hmm. But I mean, everything else is. I just still expect more for a $117 griddle with a Blackstone name. It might have costed an extra $1 in the manufacturing process to have had a drip tray that went completely over the back that would have caught the condensation rather than just this for where the grease goes. So
overall, we would buy it again.
We would buy it again. It suits our family.
So depending on the person, it can be very, very, very beneficial, especially if you're not wanting to go outside and grill for whatever reason. But definitely can feed enough people, a family of 3 to 5, easy.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Not disappointed in it. Not 100%. It's not the greatest thing.
But would you recommend it?
Yes, I'd recommend it. Absolutely.
So if you're looking into buying it, we would recommend it.
So anyway, that's it for now. I hope you like the review. I hope it helps. And until next time.
Ready,
set,
keto.
Have a good day.